Almost every drug humans reach for is underneath a poison. Nicotine, caffeine, cocaine, morphine, the kick in your coffee and the pull of your cigarette. Plants did not brew those chemicals for you. They brewed them as weapons to poison and paralyze the insects and animals trying to eat them. And for thousands of years, humans have gone looking for those poisons on purpose. Your morning coffee is a plant's pesticide. That cigarette is a leaf's chemical defense system. And your brain, instead of spitting it out, says thank you and asks for more. So the real question is stranger than it looks. It's not only what your ancestors took, it's why a species would fall in love with poison in the first place. Sit with that, because the answer changes how you see the cup in your own hand. Let's start with what they actually used, because the honest answer is almost everything, almost everywhere. Go high into the Pamir Mountains, on the edge of what is now western China, and you'll find a graveyard about 2,500 years old called Jirzenkal. In 2019, a team of archaeologists, including Yimin Yang, analyzed 10 wooden braziers pulled from the tombs. 9 of them held burned stones coated in the chemical fingerprint of cannabis. And not the weak, ropey hemp people grew for rope and cloth. This was high-potency plant, rich in the compound that gets you high. Picture the scene. A body laid out in a cold stone tomb. Mourners crowd in close. Someone drops fire-heated stones into a wooden bowl, throws the plant on top, and the small space fills with thick smoke and the sound of a harp. They were not doing this for fun. They were trying to follow the dead. And that is the pattern almost everywhere you look. This was sacred technology. The opium poppy is one of the oldest of all. Farmers in Neolithic Europe were growing it thousands of years ago, and its seeds and dried pods turn up in prehistoric villages across the Mediterranean. In the Andes of South America, people chewed coca leaves for thousands of years, a slow trickle of the plant to blunt hunger, numb the cold, and keep working at brutal altitude. Long before any of these plants had a street name, they were food and medicine and prayer. And then there are the deep hallucinogens. In a cave in the highlands of Bolivia, the archaeologist Melanie Miller and her colleagues opened a 1,000-year-old leather bundle. Inside was a complete kit: carved wooden snuffing tablets, a snuffing tube, and a small pouch stitched together from 3 fox snouts. When they scraped the inside of that pouch and ran the chemistry, it lit up with a whole pharmacy at once. DMT, harmine, bufotenine, traces of cocaine. Those are the exact ingredients of ayahuasca, the intense psychedelic brew people now fly to the Amazon to drink. Someone was carrying that knowledge in a fox snout pouch 1,000 years ago. So the what is enormous. Cannabis, opium, coca, mushrooms, cactus, vines. On nearly every inhabited continent, humans found the psychoactive plants growing around them and built entire religions on top of them. And the most used drug of all may be the one you'd never even call a drug: caffeine. For thousands of years, people around the world chewed, brewed, and traded the plants that carried it: tea leaves, cacao, cola nuts, holly, to sharpen the mind and push back exhaustion. The most popular psychoactive substance in human history is sitting in a mug on your desk right now, and it has been quietly running human attention for millennia. Now the harder question: why? Because here is the thing almost nobody tells you. Nearly every one of these substances is a plant neurotoxin. Nicotine, cocaine, morphine, caffeine. These are chemicals a plant evolved specifically to be poison. They are pesticides. A tobacco plant makes nicotine to paralyze and kill the insects chewing on its leaves. The plant's entire chemical goal is to punish whatever eats it. That bitter taste is a warning label written in molecules. Do not touch this. Which sets up a genuine scientific paradox. The researchers Roger Sullivan and Edward Hagen laid it out plainly. If these chemicals evolved to punish and repel, your brain should reject them on contact. And yet humans spent thousands of years hunting them down, farming them, trading them, even dying for them. Why would evolution leave us wide open to a plant's poison? Here's the leading answer, and it flips the whole story. The poison fits. These plant toxins are shaped by sheer chemical accident to slot straight into the control system of your brain. They imitate the signals your own body already runs on. Nicotine slips into circuits built for one of your natural messengers. Opium slots into the receptors meant for your body's own painkillers. The plant's weapon happens to be cut like a master key to your nervous system. And to a struggling ancient human, that master key had real uses. A small dose could kill the parasites living in your gut. It could dull the pain of an injury when there was no other medicine on Earth. It could quiet hunger on a starving march, or fuse a whole group together in one shared, unforgettable night. In a world constantly trying to kill you, a controlled dose of poison could tip the odds toward living. So evolution never trained the craving out of us, because for almost all of human history, it was survivable. So think about your own daily poison, the coffee, the nicotine, the drink, and be honest with yourself about which direction the control actually runs. And that word, survivable, is the entire secret, because your ancestors were protected by three things they never even noticed. The first was scarcity. You had to find the plant or grow it or walk a trade route to get it. It was rare and it was work. The second was dilution. A coca leaf chewed slowly over an hour is a faint trickle. A lump of raw opium is weak and slow. The plant handed over its poison gently, wrapped in fiber and water and time. The third was ritual. You did not do this alone on a random Tuesday. You did it at a funeral, a ceremony, a rite of passage, a few times a year with elders watching. The poison came bolted to meaning and to rules. If you want to understand the other ancient instincts quietly running your modern life, subscribe to Neanderthink. Now watch what we did. One by one, we tore off all three breaks. We ended scarcity. The plant is now a purchase, endless, cheap, and always open. We ended dilution, and this is the big one. We learned to rip the pure chemical out of the plant and throw the leaf away. The coca leaf that Andean people chewed over hours became cocaine, the entire hit in seconds. The poppy became morphine, then heroin, then fentanyl, each one more concentrated than the last. The tobacco leaf became a cigarette, engineered to land nicotine in your brain in about 10 seconds flat. We did not just find the poison. We refined it into something no ancestor ever once met. And we ended ritual. No ceremony, no elder, no once a year. Just you, alone, at any hour you want. Take a poison that evolution built to punish. Strip away the scarcity, the dilution, and the sacred rules that once made it survivable. Then hand it to a brain that was never designed to say no to it. That is not a moral failing. That is a mismatch. The deterrent your ancestors sipped in tiny, sacred doses finally gets to do exactly what the plant always intended. It wins. That is why addiction hits so hard now, and hits so rarely then. Same molecule. The brakes are simply gone. So what do you actually do with that? Not just say no. That misses the whole lesson. Here is the real shift. Your craving is not a modern weakness. It is ancient, and it is normal. And your ancestors carried the exact same wiring you do. They just never once faced the pure, endless, ritual-free version of it. What changed is not your character. It is that the poison lost its packaging. And that points straight at the actual move. Your ancestors were not saved by iron willpower. They were saved by distance from the plant. So don't try to out-discipline a 300,000-year-old craving with raw effort alone. Rebuild a break instead. Put the scarcity back, add the friction back, restore some version of the rules. You cannot delete the ancient taste for the poison, but you can stop handing yourself the purified, infinite version and then calling the result weakness. Almost every drug you love is, at its root, a plant's poison. Your ancestors ate that poison and lived, because the world only ever gave them a little of it, wrapped in work and meaning. We built a world that offers all of it, instantly, to anyone, and then we named the wreckage a personal flaw. The poison was never really the problem. The problem is that we finally set it loose. And if you want to know why one plant in particular, the one behind your weekend drink, rewired human society harder than any drug on this entire list, that is its own strange story.